It's January 19th, and that means that we're more than halfway through the first month of the new year. Do you still remember what your New Year's resolution is? If not, don't worry. There's still plenty of time for you to recommit to your resolution and resolve to make sure that this is the year that you finally reach the goals that you set for yourself at the beginning of the year. My name is Catherine Basu. I'm the owner of Fit Armadillo, and today I'm going to talk to you about the number one reason why most people fail to reach their New Year's resolutions and the steps you can take to change things around so that this year you are finally successful in reaching yours. Alright, so what is that number one reason that most people don't reach their New Year's resolutions? The reason is that they don't turn their resolutions into a goal, and more specifically, into a SMART goal. If you're new here or you've never heard of SMART goals, these are just goals that meet 5 specific characteristics that are found in the acronym SMART, and they help us make our goals more realistic and easier to achieve. So that's what we want to do with our New Year's resolutions. So take a second here, think about your New Year's resolution, and if it's something like losing weight, having more energy, getting healthy, that is hard for you to see how you're going to put that into action. You might need to do some more research first before you do that. You don't have a plan of what you're going to do today in order to stick to that resolution, then you're definitely not alone, but you're not in the best company because this is often why people fail to meet their resolutions. So look at your resolution. I'm going to take the most common one I hear about, which is getting healthy, and let's work through the SMART goal acronym together so we can take our broad resolution and break it down into smaller steps and into actionable things you can do each day of the rest of this month and throughout the year so that you're successful this year. Alright, so I have my New Year's resolution of getting healthy. Make sure you have yours. The first thing we need to do with this resolution is make sure that it's more specific. So this one's going to take the most time for me to walk through because getting healthy is really, really broad, but bear with me. Alright, so our health is actually comprised of 3 main categories. Might be more or less than that depending on who you ask, but the 3 main ones are our social health, our mental health, and our physical health. And since we're here at Fit Armadillo, I'm going to focus on our physical health as the goal for this made-up New Year's resolution maker. So we're focusing on our physical health now. That's better than just getting healthy. But our physical health is still not specific enough. So look at your resolution, see if you can get more specific with yours. For our physical health, we have 2 main components. Our physical fitness, whether or not we're moving enough in our lives, and also the things we put into our body, what we eat. If we're eating healthy, that's going to affect our physical health as well. So those 2 go hand in hand. They're both equally important. But to make this resolution of getting healthy more actionable, we want to make it into a SMART goal, and so we need to get more specific. And I'm going to have us focus on physical fitness to narrow things down. And that's not just because we're here at Fit Armadillo this time. If you have a goal of getting healthy and working on your physical health, I highly recommend that you start with moving more first before you get into the nutrition side of things. And this is backed by research, but basically exercise is a keystone habit, which means that once you start with that habit, you're able to influence other areas of your life a lot easier than you are if you just start with the eating healthy part. And I think a lot of what that has to do with, in terms of my own experience, is that people tend to focus on depriving themselves, counting calories. It's not as natural as a flow of starting with the exercise piece and then wanting to eat healthy because it'll fuel your workouts, help you feel better. But that's a topic for a whole different video. So we are getting more specific here. We've gone from getting healthy to physical health and now physical fitness, but we're still not specific enough. There's 3 main parts of our physical fitness: your cardiovascular fitness, your heart's health, your strength training, and flexibility. So let's say that in 2015, our New Year's resolution maker started a running routine and doing yoga. So they're doing really well with their cardiovascular fitness and their flexibility, but what they really need to focus on to improve their health, improve their physical health, is to include some strength training this year. So I think we've gotten pretty specific here. we'll stop with that, at least for this example. So now we've gone from getting healthy to narrowing things down and seeing that we really wanted to focus on a very specific aspect of our physical health, which is adding strength training to our routine. So make sure you took the time to get your resolution a lot more specific. And then we're gonna go over to part number 2, which is making sure our resolution is made into a measurable goal that we have. So with our example, we have this goal of starting a strength training routine. How can we measure that? This is something that, depending on what your fitness goal is, if that's a goal you have, you might want to talk to your personal trainer about. But for someone that's new to strength training and already has a baseline of fitness from their running and their yoga practice, a good goal for adding strength training would be 2 days a week of a full body strength training routine. And we're gonna say we wanna stick in between 10 to 15 rep range in terms of how many times they're lifting weights. And we wanna hit all major muscle groups. So that's very measurable. We can look at our calendar each week and see, did we hit those 2 days of a full body workout routine? Did we get in all the reps and sets that we were supposed to do? Very easy to answer yes or no if you're looking at your calendar at the end of the week. So think about your resolution. Now that you've made it more specific, how can you make it something that you can actually measure each week and see whether you are successful or not? Now, as you work through this resolution and goal, you might need to modify things as you go along, but at least you'll have some data that will help you act on the changes you're going to make instead of feeling like you're not successful at all and you don't know why, all right? So that's measurable. It's pretty simple. You might need some help, some input from someone, a professional, in order to figure out how to make your goal more measurable, but that's what we just did for our example here with strength training. Okay, now we're gonna go into A, which is attainable. So for our strength training friend who's trying to get in 2 full body workouts a week, there's 2 things that would prevent this from being attainable. One would be, do they actually know how to strength train and hit all those muscle groups and perform the exercises correctly? So if they didn't know that, then they might want to work with the personal trainer to have them figure out what to do and make sure they had an efficient routine. And the other thing would be whether or not they had the time for that workout. So I've worked with many clients, our trainers here at Fit Armadillo have worked with many clients, and you can get a very good 30-minute workout in that's full body strength training routine, even at home. So I'm going to say that that's pretty attainable for someone to do 30 minutes, 2 days a week, as long as they have the proper support and they know what they're doing with that routine. So look at your goals, see if you're able to attain it. So let's move on to R, which is relevant. Is this goal something that means something to you, that is relevant to your life? Hopefully all of us, even that resolution of getting healthy, I know myself, I have things I want to work on to make myself more healthy, even though I'm a personal trainer and I enjoy working out. That big general resolution is probably very relevant to you, but it's important to connect and dig a little deeper to why are you going to be waking up each day, taking these action steps. So that's where the relevant part comes in. So for our person who had the resolution, let's just say that the reason why they want to get healthy is because they really enjoyed running races last year, but they found that they might have had some injuries, or maybe they didn't have any injuries, but they are working on a personal record, a PR for their races. And strength training is a great way to help someone that has a running routine already work on both of those goals. So it's very relevant for someone who has been running already and wants to work on preventing injury and getting PRs to work on a strength training routine for the new year. So look at your goal and see if it's relevant to your life. This might seem easy to pass over, but it's really important to figure out why you are committing to this resolution and this SMART goal in the first place. All right, we're at T, the last part of making our resolution into a SMART goal. So this is really important. T stands for time bound. And when you set a resolution, we're usually thinking about the whole year. That can be overwhelming in and of itself. So this is an important step. We want to break down that huge, monstrous resolution spanning the whole year into some time frame that makes sense for what goal we're setting. So let's look at our resolution of getting healthy, which has now become that strength training routine 2 times a week. What's a way to make that resolution and goal time bound? So the answer to that would be to check in after 6 to 8 weeks. I'm going to say 8 weeks, because that's about the amount of time that it takes for us to see a change in our strength training level and to really be ready to take things to a next level or assess things. So at the end of 2 months, so in the middle of March, we'll check in and see if we are able to do those 2 workouts a week and take things to the next level, either changing up the weights, changing up parts of the routine, adding in another day of strength training if we need to, breaking up those 2 days, maybe into smaller days. But that's a good way for us to make this huge goal of adding strength training throughout the year into a time-bound, smaller goal that we can check in on in a shorter amount of time. So do that same thing with your goal. See where a good check-in point would be that's not the full year, which can be pretty overwhelming when you look at it that way. Now that you know the number one reason why most people fail to stick to their New Year's resolutions is that they don't turn them into SMART goals, it's time to take action. If you weren't able to get all the work done while you're watching this video, make sure that you take a minute right now. After you watch the ending here of this video, pause the video, take some time to go through those steps and to take your resolution, that big idea, and make it into a SMART goal. And once you've done that, I hope that you will leave us some comments in the notes below the video or below the blog post. We'll find more tips and resources for setting SMART goals to let us know what you're working on. And if you have a fitness related goal, I'd love to give you some tips and feedback as to whether or not your goal actually is SMART or not. So definitely leave those there for me to check over. And I think that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please share it. Make sure that you have your friends watch it, because another great tip is to have friends help you work on your resolutions. And if you need a really good fit friend, I hope that you'll check out the Fit Armadillo Trainers. We work with you one-on-one through live online personal training sessions. And I say we because we're a big team, and that means that we're available to you with just 30 minutes notice once you set up for an account. So if you have a fitness goal and you're struggling to make it SMART or just to get yourself working out each day, this is a great way to get started. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great week, awesome workouts, and set some amazing SMART goals so that 2016 is the year that you actually keep your New Year's resolutions. Bye!